All right, so the first one, these are already factored, okay? So when you have something that's factored and it's set equal to 0, you just set each one separately equal to 0. So 2x minus 1 equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0. So then you just solve. So you'd add 1, 2x equals 1, divide by 2, x equals 1 half, and then x equals negative 2. So that's all you're doing. Yes, this should be a review. The reason we're doing this is because we're going to start doing things like this with trig functions, and you're going to need to be solid on your factoring skills. So again, here you have two things, x and x plus 1. You just set each of them separately equal to 0. So you get x equals 0 and x plus 1 equals 0. So you subtract 1 here, and you get x equals negative 1. So your final answer would be x equals 0 and negative 1. So that's all you're doing when you're solving for the values of x once you get an equation in factored form. All right, so the first thing we're going to look at is factoring a difference of squares. So this is a review from Algebra 2. When you have something in this form, x squared minus y squared, where both x and y are perfect squares. So that would be like 1, 4, 9, 16. And y is the same thing, perfect squares. You can make it, you can factor it like this, x minus y, x plus y, where x and y are just the square roots of whatever these are. So an example, x squared minus 25, here we have a 1, so what's the square root of 1? 1, right. So it would be x minus 5, and then x plus 5. And that's all you do to factor a difference of squares. So you can do that whenever you have both the x term and the y term are perfect squares. All right, we can also factor out using the greatest common factor. So what we're looking at here is the entire thing. What do both of these parts have in common that we can pull out? Oh, good, 2x. So this has an x, this has an x. And then this has a 2, and this has 8, which we can factor out a 2 from. So what you do is you take out a 2x, and then you just write what's left. So I took out a 2x here, so now I have 4xy. Here I have minus 2x. I took out 2x. You can't just leave that, okay? It doesn't just disappear. You have to have a 1 there for a placeholder, okay? So when you factor out the 2x from 2x, it doesn't disappear. You still have a 1 there. All right, the last thing we're going to do is factoring a trinomial. And I know some people really struggle with this in Algebra 2, so this is important. All right? To factor trinomial, I do what's called the ACB method. Okay? ACB. So what you ultimately do is multiply your A value times your C value. Okay? A times C. So that would be 2 times negative 2, and you get negative 4. And then your B value is just right here, negative 3. All right? So what I'm doing now is I have to find two numbers that multiply to negative 4 and add up to negative 3. Okay? I need to find two numbers that multiply to negative 4 and add up to negative 3. Negative 4 and positive 1. Good. Because negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, and negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is rewrite this equation with negative 4 and 1 in instead of negative 3. So I get 2x squared minus 4x plus x minus 2. Is this equation identical to that one in value? Yes, because if I just did minus 4x plus x, I'd get minus 3x. So they're exactly the same. All right? All right, so now what we need to do is called factor by grouping. If my coefficient here had been 1, so if this was a 1 here, then I could have been done. It would have just been x minus 4, x plus 1, and it would have been factored. But my coefficient is not 1. It's a 2. So I have to factor by grouping. So what you do is group it like this into two parts. and you want to pull values out of each of these to make the inside identical. So what's the greatest common factor here? 2x, good. So I pull out 2x, and I'm left with what? X minus 2. What's the greatest common factor here? Is there anything? 1, right. You don't need to pull anything out because it's already x minus 2. It's already the same. So now here's the part that some people get confused with. You have x minus 2 and you have x minus 2. So that's one of your factors, x minus 2. And then the other factor is going to be 2x plus 1. Okay? 2x plus 1. All right, and that would be the answer if you were asked to factor. If you were asked to solve again, you would just set each of those separately equal to 0. Okay?